Hello, and welcome to another episode of BrettCasts Let's Read. Doing things a little differently this time. I'm actually dual recording, so recording the camera and recording the audio. I know I look totally stupid with giant headphones on, but this is the only thing I have that has a microphone. I don't have any other kind of microphone, so deal with it. Anyway, so I had a ton of fun making the first video of the Let's Read that I wanted to make another, and I'm probably going to make more. It's going to probably be a series. This episode, I was back on Wattpad for some more fan fiction, but we're not picking another Transformers one. No. This time, I went for a favorite anime series of mine, which is Sword Art Online. Yep, we're going to be reading some Sword Art Online fanfiction, so I hope this doesn't get too weird. Please. Anyways, so I found a Sword Art Online fanfiction that is titled An Unbroken Bond, which is supposed to be a Sinon X male reader, I assume, love story. Anyways, as like the first episode, I will be commenting on things as I read, so let's do this. Too weird? Okay. So, chapter 1 is titled The Start. I also want to say that I learned that in fanfiction, when they have a parentheses y/n, that means you insert oneself into the story. However, I didn't feel like doing that. So, I'm gonna make the protagonist's name Steve. Steve POV. Finally! Sword Art Online came out. Me and my best friend Josh came with me. Sorry, I read that. No, I didn't. I read that right. Me and my best friend Josh came with me to pick it up early. I'm wondering if they mean early because it's early in the day? Or is it an early release? We've been friends since childhood, and he has been there for me since. We both were interested in SAO, so we bought it. So, what username should I look for when I join? A universe unknown. You? AutobotJazz32. I picked that name. Okay, see you later, Steve. Bye! We went our separate ways. Okay, so if that dialogue seemed confusing, that's because the author left out any indication as to which character was speaking. I don't know if that's a fanfiction thing, but I think you want your reader to know which character is saying which lines of dialogue. An hour later, I set up the game and everything, and I was immersed in the beauty of the game. I played for hours and met up with Josh, who got a friend. Apparently, her name was Asuna. We had fun, but it was time for bed. I was tired, and so were they, so we went to the pause menu, but the logout option was gone. Why can't I log out? You can't? Wait, neither can I, Josh replied. Me neither, Asuna said, surprised. What the hell? I heard a female voice say in the back. I heard a female voice say in the back as a flashing light took us somewhere. End of chapter 1 here. And this was very short. It was strange how in the first paragraph there was no dialogue indication like Asuna said, Josh said. But in the second paragraph there was sort of. Anyway, felt like a pretty typical way to start something in the SAO universe, although I'm fairly disappointed we didn't get a Link start like they do in the show. Oh well. I do love how our character Steve was like so surprised that Josh made a friend on the first day they played the game. Chapter 2 is called The First Order. Oh, I hope we get to see Kylo Ren. Oh, sorry, that's a different First Order. Steve POV. Everyone spawned in a lobby. I was still surprised. I had realized we looked more like our real-life appearances, which I had my nice black flowing hair. I am very confused as to what just happened. What the hell is going on? I don't know either. People started chattering. Welcome, one and all. I am sure you noticed that your logout buttons have mysteriously disappeared. That is because there is only one way out now. Beat all 100 floors, and you will be granted freedom. As well as the fact that if you die in the game, you die in real life. By the game sending electrical shocks to you, effectively killing you. A woman with blue hair stepped forward and yelled, "How the hell did I get here? I was in the middle of something. I'm sorry to have inconvenienced you in any way." Well, not really, but too bad. He disappeared. I'm really surprised that the author didn't just, use the welcome to my world speech from the anime here, like word for word. I also love how this one woman was just like, "Hey, I was in the middle of something, you stupid asshole." And it's just like, how dare you for interrupting something that was probably not as important as, someone telling you that you are trapped now in a video game and that you could be killed in real life from dying in this game. Like, man, that's not what you want to do, is just interrupt what she was doing. I mean, geez, that woman really had the nerves of steel to say that. Well, shit. Steve, you always said you were skilled at survival. Yeah? Why? Because it looks like we may need to use it all. Well, I think we need to do something else first. Grind! I said. The blue-haired girl, though, was not taking this well. Sinon POV. God, this is infuriating. Outside, I was a bit mellowed, but honestly, I really wanted to say, "Oh, that mother son of a is gonna be so dead when I get my hands on him. I will teach that a lesson." And like 40 exclamation points. But I'm fine. Just gotta beat the floors. Well, that really does sum up Sinon's personality in like a few sentences there. I love how the author just just starred out all the swear words here. Like, really an interesting choice. Though they never said, like fuck or anything in the anime for SAO, and it wasn't in the manga, which I've read. I don't know about the light novel, because I've never read the light novel, but yeah. I love too how Sinon's just like, "This is fine. I'll just beat the floors. How hard can that be?" "I am going. Bye," I said, taking my leave. Maybe you should make a team," a purple-haired character started. "Who needs a team? I can tell you, not me," I said, walking away once more. Steve POV. But I was cut off. "Let her go, Steve. She can handle herself. Hopefully." "You say this. I am going after her. Asuna, take care of Josh for me." I ran. "I could take care of myself just fine," he argued, till Asuna knocked him out. "I have been given a job. I will hold the fort until you come back," Asuna gave the word. "Thanks," I yelled, heading out. So, a few things. Why did Asuna just knock Josh out? All of our character All her character told Asuna is to just stay with him, and she just knocks him out for no reason. Why does Asuna say hold the fort like they're somewhere important? I thought they were just like still in the lobby area. Anyway, that's the end of chapter 2. Chapter 3 is called Then and Now. Steve has followed this woman for so long. Basically, he was spying. He watched as she was heading out. Oddly, she took down floor 1 through 5 without grinding, which surprised Steve. But now he was about to see something he didn't expect. I just want to take a minute and say that paragraph was not in a POV of any character, which, like, why not say that was in the POV of the protagonist, as they're the one following Sinon? That would make the most sense to me. Sinon's POV. Finally, I think I'll go rest now. Hopefully I'll make it without anybody noticing me. But I won't get to come out of my shell much, so I'll do it now. I took off my disguise, revealing myself. Nothing special. Steve POV. She's hot! OMG! No way! That wasn't part of the story, that was just me. Okay, Sinon POV. When suddenly I stopped in my tracks. I'm the corner of my eye. I saw someone. That same black-haired person I saw before. Why was he fanboying? Oh. Oh no. I quickly put my disguise back on. Who's there? I yelled. Hey, calm down, he replied. Why did you follow me? I shouted, very pissed. Thanks for pointing that out. I was worried about you. I was just fine on my own. But what if you weren't? What are you yapping about? Okay, I'm gonna jump in here for a moment because this is some Class A dialogue. First of all, protagonist just fanboys out at seeing Sinon in like her regular SAO outfit, but like the way that they're reacting is if like he saw her naked. And secondly, but what if you weren't? That is literally the best line I've ever heard. Like, what does that even mean anyway? I like to imagine two people. Alright, person 2 says, are you okay? Person 1 says, I'm fine. Person 2 says, but what if you weren't? Like, seriously, what does that even mean? What if something happened to you while you were out, and I didn't follow you? I really don't know how to answer. Okay, here's the thing, protagonist. You watched Sinon clear floors 1 through 5 all by herself, so I'm pretty sure she could handle anything. I assume. It depends on what floor they're on. Which is something else. The author has given no indication as to where in Aincrad we are. Like what floor we're on. Maybe since Sinon cleared the first 5 floors, they're on floor 6? Asuna POV. I went out and bought myself a rapier and an outfit. A nice white and red outfit. I returned home afterwards. I entered looking around and realized nobody was home. Okay, I got some issues here already. Asuna gets her signature outfit from the Knights of the Blood Oath. So unless her outfit here is just a generic red and white outfit, then how would she have gotten the Knights of the Blood Oath outfit without joining them? Let's just say it's a generic white and red outfit that looks like the Knights of the Blood Oath outfit, but is not that same outfit. The other thing is, where did Asuna get a house? Like, that's something you have to buy in SAO's world. The way they word it, it's just like, yeah, Asuna just has a house. She's had it for a while. She and Josh came here. No indication of when she bought the house in the story. Steve has not come back yet, and Josh was nowhere to be found. I took him back here after I KO'd him. But When did you take Josh back here? That was never even established.
Josh? Steve? Oh no! I set everything else down and ran out of here. Steve, POV? That isn't the question. Leave now and speak to nobody about what you saw, the woman said, walking away. I started heading away, back to Asana's place. But what I found on the way back was not what I was hoping. I saw Asuna, scared, frantically running around searching. Don't worry, Asuna, if it's me you're looking for, here I am, I said smug.
Smug? Smug? Fine.
You were one of the things I was looking for. Good thing you're here. Josh got out.
When? When did Josh get out? I feel so lost and confused since there's pieces of necessary information that the author left out. Also, why is it that when we switched back to our protagonist's point of view, why is it that piece of dialogue ended with "the woman said"? We knew earlier that the protagonist was talking to Sinon.
What? Now I am frantic. I know. I'm worried he'd try something stupid like challenging one of the floors. That sure sounds like something he'd do. Oh God.
So that ends chapter 3. Another thing is how Asuna is worried that Josh might do something dumb, like try to clear a floor, and protagonist agrees. And me, the reader, literally knows nothing about who Josh is or anything about his character, so if that's supposed to be me in the story, I'd be like, is that something Josh would do? In terms of the story, they only tell us that the protagonist and Josh have been friends since childhood. Is that supposed to imply that we already know Josh very well? Chapter 4 is titled The Hidden Lore.
Steve, POV. God, I don't know whether to be scared for his safety or worried for what may happen, Asuna said.
Okay, this is my other problem with Josh. Josh supposedly met Asuna on like their first day of SAO, so did he just like tell her everything about himself so she would know that this is something Josh would do? If you ask me, Asuna doesn't really know Josh that well.
Surely he will be fine. He probably will take out the first couple of I cut myself off. Thought about the female I met that cleared the first 5. He would be completely destroyed.
Okay, I'm gonna make a correction, because I realized that protagonist only followed Sinon around and never asked her name, so protagonist does not know Sinon by name yet.
Yeah, we need to find him. But I'm going to find someone else, I said. Girlfriend? No, I blushed.
But you were so awfully worried about Josh just like a second ago. And the fact that he could have went and possibly gotten himself in a situation where he might get killed, but somehow going and looking for Sinon is more important? Are you sure you're best friends with Josh?
Sure. Asuna geared up and headed out. I grabbed my vindication carver and headed out.
Yes, I found a sword name generator and I picked that name. It sounds cool.
Asuna POV. I headed out, defeating enemies that faced me. Still worried. I don't want to lose a friend so early in... A feeling came over me. I stopped. Maybe it will be soon. Maybe he will arrive. Fortune hit me. As soon as I said it, he was right there.
Where are we? What floor are we on? What enemies is Asuna fighting? So many things are missing. I'm just feeling lost.
Hey! I yelled. Huh? He turned. Next time, you won't leave. I will make sure, I assured.
Okay, so I feel like the proper thing would have been to first ask Josh what he's doing out here, maybe ask something related to that, or why he disappeared. Then you can say he won't leave next time. You don't just open with, you won't leave next time.
Where's Steve? He asked. He's looking for that girl. Okay. With that, we headed back. Steve POV. I looked for the woman, and luckily I saw her in grinding.
First of all, that can sound really, really bad. Secondly, why is it worded in grinding? Like, grinding is something that players do in games. It's not like a specific area of the game. Or game area.
Hey, go away, Steve. I never told you my name. I overheard it. You were the one talking to Asuna, yes? Yeah. As I thought. I sighed.
Yeah, sorry, protagonist. The old "I never told you my name" move ain't gonna be working on that Sinon here. You're gonna have to try a little bit harder.
Look, I thought about what you said before. What would have happened if some happened to me, and I would join you and your friends? Until we got out of here, that is, she admitted. Well, that makes me happy. I swear I saw her smile a bit. But now, I gotta tell you something, she said. I'm all ears. Sinon had opened up to you. Her real name is Asada Shino, and she told you everything about her past. You felt bad for her, and she looked a bit emotional too. Now, you tell anyone about this, and you're dead. Noted. And it all went black.
So that concludes chapter 4. I kind of want to know how Sinon had such a quick turnaround with her feelings towards protagonist. Like, earlier she's just like, go away and leave me alone. But then a little bit later it's all, I'm going to tell you everything about me. What suddenly made her want to trust protagonist? Chapter 5 is titled Broken Hearted.
Steve POV. I awoke in Asuna's home. I don't remember being here. What happened? Then I felt something hugging my back. Not something, someone. I turned my head to see Sinon, hugging my back in her sleep. Oh, how I was fangirling in my mind. Sinon soon woke up and blushed after realizing what she did. You guys are awake now. I heard a male voice say. They're awake? Thank God! A female voice said. The female voice turned out to be Asuna, and the male voice turned out to be Josh.
I would think that protagonists, having spent enough time with Asuna and Josh, would know their voices by now.
How long have we been out? Sinon asked. They both had worried expressions. Well, 3 months, both of them said at the same time. What? Me and Sinon yelled. Yeah, 3 months.
So, what or who knocked them out, and how could they have just been knocked out for 3 months? That's a pretty long ass time to be knocked out with no explanation at all.
Yeah, me and Josh actually went up and cleared some of the floor.
Just one. Some of the one floor.
Asuna said. And something else happened. Yeah, Josh toyed with us. May I please be told who these people are? Sinon asked. This is Asuna, and this is Josh, I said. Well, nice to meet you, Sinon said, unsure. Well, not to waste time, we should get back to the dungeons. Maybe we can all get through this and finish the game, I said.
So how many floors did they clear, and which floors have Asuna and Josh cleared? Did they do it as just the two of them? How strong are they? What level are they? What floor of SAO is Asuna's house on? Where's the next closest dungeon? Why did Asuna and Josh leave protagonist and Sinon asleep for 3 months? Why not try to wake them up?
Alright, Josh said. After being ready, we went to the next dungeon, which turned out to be 87 out of 100.
Wow! How convenient that in very little time, our group of characters went from being like new SAO players to tackling the dungeon on the 87th floor. This story has no sense of the world these characters inhabit at all.
Well, let's go, we all charged in, attacking like no tomorrow. The boss did nothing until we attempted to strike at it. It mainly attacked me for some reason, but we took it down. Look out! Sinon yelled. You turned around to see the boss doing one last attack on you.
Okay, this is my POV. I would not refer to myself as you, so the way I would change that would be, look out, Sinon yelled as I turned to see the boss readying up for one last attack.
You closed your eyes and waited, but nothing happened. You opened your eyes to see your best friend in front of you, having taken the full attack, which was enough to kill him. Josh! No! You and Asuna yelled. You bastard! You charged, fully killing the boss.
Okay, I know this is supposed to be an emotional moment in the story, but the line, "but we took it down," occurred much earlier, which means that our characters defeated the boss already. Now, if you wanted this whole action scene to happen, then you delete the "but we took it down" line.
Oh god, we need to take him back, see if we can help him, Asuna said worriedly. 1 hour later, Sinon's POV. I was waiting for them to exit the bedroom. Asuna and Steve were in there almost all day.
I'm going to question whether or not the author watched the SAO anime or read the manga. I ask this because when characters die in SAO, they break like glass, and then they disappear. And it's very quick. There would be no bringing Josh's body back to Asuna's house and all this. I mean, they did say that the blow from the boss killed him.
I entered. Guys, he'll be fine. We got other things to do, I said. Steve stayed silent.
I thought I just said that line. What the... Okay, story.
Maybe you're right. Let's go. Asuna got up and was about to walk out, but she was stopped. Stopped by something that, as far as everyone else could tell, caused tears to start in her eyes. She was stopped by a flatline.
Like I said, that's not how character deaths work within the world of Aincrad. Anyway, that's the end of the chapter. Chapter 5. End of chapter 5. Yep, I'm still going on with the story that already has me lost and confused. Chapter 6 is titled Hardships, Anger, and Hope.
Asuna POV. Oh no, please don't let this be what I think. I already felt tears running down my face. I turned around to see the monitor I set up to show Josh's. It had ceased.
I really don't think the author knows how deaths work in Aincrad.
Sinon POV. I think I jinxed it. He just died in front of our eyes. Steve POV. No. My best friend. We had so many plans for the future.
I just want to say that I really question how much protagonist cared about Josh, because he decided to go look for Sinon when Asuna was freaking out that Josh got out.
I can't believe it. You ruined it. You got him killed, Asuna said to me. Me? I never wanted him dead. He was basically family, I responded. Asuna left and went into her room.
Honestly, Asuna, how can you blame protagonist for Josh's death when Josh chose to take that blow from the boss for protagonist? That literally makes no sense here. Obviously, protagonist has known Josh the longest between the two of you, even with a 3-month time skip.
Asuna POV. I entered my room, crying and sobbing. What's wrong, Mama? A familiar voice said. Yui, how could I tell her?
So, I guess one of the things that Asuna and Josh did in those 3 months that protagonist and Sinon were just out was somehow they got Yui? I don't really get it, but okay.
He's gone, Asuna replied and hiccuped. He? Yui replied. It then gasped. Papa's gone? I slowly nodded. It's all right, Mama. I'm sure things will get better, Yui said. Maybe you're right, I said through sobs. I hear there is a special item found in a dungeon that can bring a person back from death in-game, Yui said. There is? I asked, surprised. Yes, if you find it, it could be able to revive him, Yui stated. I have to find it. I have to. I put my mask on and left the room. Asuna, I'm sorry if I did anything to upset. I ignored Steve and laughed. I had to do this. I had to.
So that brings Chapter 6 to a close. Here's my issue with what's happening so far. Yes, there is an item in Sword Art Online that can revive players, but, well, let me read the description. The item is called the Divine Stone of Returning Soul. And how it works is that the item can be activated on the player's shortcut menu or by holding the materialized item and uttering revive player name. The effect will only work during the time frame between the death of the player and the disappearance of the item's effect light, which is approximately 10 seconds. I'm sorry, but Josh should be so far dead at this point that the possibility of reviving him would be basically impossible, unless the author made up a new item that revives players regardless of how they died or when they died in a sale. Chapter 7 is called Odd.
Steve POV. Fuck. Asuna ran off. I am in no shape to follow her. It's been too long and I don't know what I'm doing, and I keep hearing voices in my head.
We keep hearing voices in our head.
I'm not Venom.
Aww.
Everything is going wrong.
What the hell was that? Oh god, okay.
But the whole time I was panicking, Sinon was here trying to calm me down. It's okay, she's strong. She'll be back, she assured me. But what if she isn't?
There it is again. There it is again.
I don't want to lose her. She's a great person, I groaned.
You know, the whole characters feeling sorry for themselves thing is just like going on too long, you know? Everyone's blaming themselves for the death of Josh, and this has been going on since like chapter 3. People just keep moping around and crying, and like if I wanted an anime that was like that, I'd just go watch Attack on Titan.
Man up, Steve. What? Man up, Steve. I am stunned. Sinon, who has mostly had a calm head for the past few minutes, is now yelling me to man up. I'm sorry, but you can't lose yourself here. Not now. I looked down at my hands, shaking my head, and stopped. And I didn't fall for a wuss. You what? Oops, you heard that? I slowly nod. Had I just been told something that I wasn't?
No shit, dumbass.
Shut up. Go back to your world. Steve, I really am sorry that we're in these circumstances, but I love you. I can't speak for you, and I can't talk about what you've been through. But I know that as long as you and me are together, we can win this, Sinon said. She gave me a hug and a quick peck, which caused me to blush a great deal. Now, let's go find Asuna. We are wasting time here and now. Right. Together? Together. And with that, we headed out.
So Sinon finally came out to tell Protagonist that she loves him, and Protagonist doesn't say much of anything back. Does Sinon just know that Protagonist is also in love with her? I would assume from all the fanboying earlier.
Asuna POV. Steve really didn't deserve what happened, but my thoughts were clouded with anger. And I just snapped. The person who was with me most of the time died moments after. I stopped in my tracks, as I had been standing in a field. I can't blame Steve. Not for this. Not for something that was beyond their control. They don't deserve the blame.
Wow, Asuna, it really took you long enough to figure that out.
Asuna, Hey, where did you go? I hear two people calling for me. It must be Steve and Sinon. I can't say Sinon, but I'd recognize that voice of Steve's anywhere. Don't waste your breath, I'm fine. Soon enough they caught up with me. I gave a small smile. Oh, thank goodness you're alright. I cut off Steve with a hug.
You know, I feel like a good portion of the story is just like one character asking another character if they're okay, and the other character confirming that they are in fact okay.
Hey lady, we didn't come this far for you to mooch off of my man, Sinon said jokingly. You're an oddball, Steve, but I can't imagine not having met you, I said quietly. I was so glad. Maybe this could work out after all.
And that's the end of chapter 7. And I'm running out of things to say, so I'm just gonna move on to the next one. Chapter 8 is titled Where My Decision Resides.
Steve POV. After Asuna's fit was over and we both made up, we went back and stayed there for a while. It had been a few weeks since the incident, and even though things have gotten better, people are still on edge.
Is this incident the death of Josh? Did this have an impact on anyone besides the three of our characters? I would imagine that everyone who's trapped in SAO is on edge since, they're trapped in SAO and they could die in real life if they died in the game.
We're just here. I'm basically living with two girls that are both pretty hot. However, only one of them is mine.
Thank you for clearing that one up, because I was so worried that protagonist was going to start hitting on Asuna when Sinon was not around.
Thinking about it, after a while, I can understand where Asuna was coming from. While me and Josh were best friends for a while. I don't know how close they were, but I can assume. I still miss him. However, I know Josh wouldn't want us to dwell on the past and over him. He'd want us to work together and get out of this mess.
Wow, okay, so we're in the 8th chapter, and now protagonist is realizing that we need to just stop moping around and get our shit together.
And that is exactly what we do. So, anyone willing to address the elephant in the room? Sinon, Steve's new girlfriend, addressed. Besides everything? Her boyfriend countered. Fair point, but I'm serious. We don't even know how many floors have been taken out yet, and we're supposed to clear 100. She stressed and looked away. I don't know the exact number, Asuna muttered tiredly as she walked in. But I believe that people have at least... But I believe that the people have at least quite a few down. God, that's a tough sentence to read. We may be looking at around 35 left.
Wait a second. The last time we got a floor update, which is when our characters did the dungeon on the 87th floor, that would make it there's only 15 floors left. Now, you're telling me that floors 65 to 100, minus 1, the 87th floor, have not been cleared yet? Ugh, this is confusing.
That fast, huh? The blue-haired beauty shrugged. Guess not everybody here has been slacking off, the three of us being the exception. This was mostly true. However, Steve had been training each night in preparation for their victory to be won. However, this only made him wonder if the group was ready or not, and what their next move should be. Steve! Ah! I fell down and grumbled. What? You spaced out, Asuna said, narrowing her eyes. And your eyes. Have you slept enough lately? Well, if I said yes, you wouldn't believe me, so... I said, and she looked down in defeat. Sad part is, you're right here. Right there, she said, but then looked up. But what's next? We're your team. I began to think again. What should our next move be? I could probably find another team or something, and we could all tank the last floors with ease. But at the same time, I'd be putting so many other in danger. It's not right. Or is it? Would they understand the cause of getting the majority out for the loss of a few? I don't know. Where does my decision lie? Do I, A, bring my team along and we all tank the final floor? or go alone and risk it all to save everyone.
And that effectively ends chapter 8. There was something at the end where the author is letting people who are reading it decide what ending the next chapter will be. And the other option that doesn't get picked will be the alternate ending. Chapter 9 is titled Endgame, Remember Me.
Flashback to when Steve and Josh are 9, Josh's POV. I don't think you understand why this is a big deal, Steve. I get it. You're a coward, so I get if you don't want to come along. I'm no coward, Steve. I'm just overly cautious. So you're a wuss. Why are you calling me out all of a sudden? Acting like you suddenly higher than all? Well, maybe I just have some better friends to hang out with, and I don't want to waste my time with you right now.
Wow, protagonist, that's a cold move to use on your best friend.
Better friends? Yeah, didn't think about that. No, I did, but hey, man, I gotta go. Bye, Josh, as I watch Steve walk away. I have my own head in shame. Maybe I was a bad friend. Did I do something wrong? Everything was fine a little while ago, but something changed. Maybe Steve was too much of a wuss. Or maybe I was too much of a wuss. Steve wanted to go deep into the forest, despite the many horrifying rumors that were spread around and the many warnings from our parents. It was after school, and they likely wouldn't know, but they wouldn't make rumors about it if there was not something to it, right? I don't care, though. If Steve wants some time away, that's fine. I'm willing to wait for him, no matter how long that is. Okay, so that ends the flashback. Back to the present time. I began remembering that day. Yep, I was a dick.
Wow, he realized it. Oh my god.
I went out into the forest and almost got chased out, had my parents not come out looking for me. The day after, I went and acted like yesterday never happened, though it seemed like the feeling was mutual. Steve! Sinon's familiar voice arose as she snapped her fingers in front of my face. Huh? What? You conked out, she said, raising an eyebrow. I did? So I did. I accepted that.
Okay, why would protagonist question whether they were, like, out of it? And immediately just be like, yep, I was out of it, that's what happened. Why not have protagonist just say, I suppose I did, or I suppose I was out of it?
Well, we still need a plan. What are we supposed to do, Steve? Asuna asked from the other end of the room. That's right, we're going to go and take the floors down, but we need a plan / need a plan.
Was that just a typo, or was something else supposed to go in after that slash? I'll just assume that was a typo and that the author didn't want to say need a plan twice.
I'm not going to have them come along with me. It's too dangerous and I can't risk losing any more of my friends. I've got an idea, but I'll need to be patient. How else would I successfully pull this off? I've got a plan to fix this, and it may not end well, but I've got to do it. I've got it. We'll strike 2 days from now so that everyone can get proper training and be prepared. So for now, go get some rest. You earned it. I'll be out for a bit getting something that we may need.
All one thing.
I decided and got a nod from the other two. The two made their way up, with Sinon looking back and saying, I'll be waiting for you. I blushed slightly and nod before walking out. Unbeknownst to them, I had Vindication Carver on my side, ready. I can't let them do this. This is my fight now, and unfortunately, I'll keep it that way.
Right, cool. So you're just gonna go be Kirito and be the badass.
Flashback again to when Steve and Josh were 9, third-person POV. No, it's not that. Then what else could it be? You? No, it's not me. Josh and Steve were debating what happened back in that forest. Steve claimed he saw something terrifying. Nobody believed him, of course, except for his best friend.
Doesn't sound like Josh believes him at all.
Whatever, Steve. If what you saw was so terrifying, then don't go back, Josh advised.
Are we going to get some idea of what protagonist saw that was so terrifying? Also, is this taking place in real life or in Sword Art Online? Because nothing indicates it either way.
Yeah, he was right, but Steve was being as stubborn as ever, and he wasn't going to. Yeah, right. And let that thing stay there? No. People need to see the truth, Steve countered, leaving Josh to sigh and roll his eyes. Look, Steve, Josh uttered before walking up to him with a serious look on his face. If you really saw something there, then you don't go back. He crossed his arms and started walking away. Some things are best left forgotten. For now.
You're seriously not going to tell us what Josh and Protagonist are arguing about? You're not going to tell us what Protagonist saw? I want to know.
Back to present time, Steve's POV. I opened my eyes once more, sighing as I stopped attacking the foes around me. I know what I have to do. I'm high enough leveled that I can beat the 100th floor. I can stay by myself and save the people in this world. I have to.
Good grief, Protagonist is like more powerful than Kirito was. I mean, this guy is going to challenge the 100th floor of SAO. I mean, Kirito never made that area in the anime or the manga, but like, he and Asuna were doing things with their guild or the group of friends, so Protagonist is now more godlike than Kirito.
Otherwise, all of it may be lost. As I look over to the tower with the determined look in my eyes, I dash towards it. Everyone's fate is in my hands. I won't let them down.
Alright, I'm invested in this because in all of the SAO anime and manga, we've never seen the 100th floor, so I'm actually, curious about what's waiting for our protagonist.
Time skip third person POV. Asuna and Sinon have been training, but they also spent some time talking and hanging out. Though while one of them was oblivious, Sinon took great notice, and it filled her with an almighty concern. Where was Steve? He hadn't been present for the past day, and it was killing her. Currently, she and Asuna were standing in the window of a store talking about something they should do to prep for the big attack. But this time, Sinon was going to ask, Hey, do you know where Steve is, Asuna? She looked over, tilting her head. You know, now that you mention it, no. I haven't seen him since he left to train. The question had her worries spike up even more. You don't think that he went without us? Sinon was about to ask before Asuna replied. Steve is a tough nut to crack, but I'm sure he wouldn't dive headfirst into danger like that. Right, Sinon uttered, with uncertainty in her voice. Would he do that? Sinon thought to herself.
Why did we waste this space and devote time to seeing how Sinon and Asuna are both worried about Protagonist?
Scene change. Steve pushed his way through one by one. He and a few people that came by, but for the most part he did it alone. In fact, when the opportunity came by, you have everyone else leave and take it for himself.
I'm honestly not sure what that sentence was supposed to mean.
He was at the final floor. Now it's time for him to test his might. Steve POV. I entered the room, which looked more like a dungeon than anything else. I ball up my fist with my blade in hand. I sighted before hearing another sigh from behind, then steps from the front.
I am surprised you made it this far. You never cease to surprise me, Steve,
A voice said, coming from behind this time. What even is this? How did it know?
Unfortunately, this is where the little game ends.
Before I said anything, I looks to my shadow to see it was moving, not like me, but different.
Ah, man. I was certain that Heathcliff was going to be up on the 100th floor and that, super god Protagonist was going to have to defeat him.
What are you? I asked, surprised.
A lot of things, though the important one for you is your final enemy and task.
It replied. Now I'm not crazy. The shadow is talking to me. If you are the final floor boss, then at least face me, I say, putting up a rough front.
Why would the shadow tell protagonist that it's the final enemy and task, when saying you're the final enemy is enough? Also, I think that protagonist is putting up a tough front, not a rough front.
I wasn't about to let this impede my progress. Not after everything I've done to get up here.
Before this ends, I want to congratulate you. You will be the first person to feel my might. I am honored for you to be the first person to feel my power.
I stare skeptically.
And thank you for being so dumb to let me spawn.
My eyes widen as I notice small crystallized enemies. Hundreds. All of them surrounding me.
Do you like them, Steve? My pets sure do like you.
No, I say flatly.
Understood. Well, at least I can admire your honesty.
The shadow spoke.
They're here to babysit. Actually, you are here to babysit.
My shadow moved and snapped its fingers, causing all of them to jump me. However, I was prepared and moved my blade in a wave motion to catch the beasts as they came, one by one. I was ready.
Alright, Condensing Man here, coming in. So, Steve taunts the shadow, it creates more enemies. One enemy jumps him, but somehow it blows up. Okay? Shadow makes all the enemies turn to dust, and then reanimates the ones that Steve killed. They form people that Steve knows, like Asuna and Sinon. It actually mentions Asuna having her sniper rifle. You know, the one that she used in the Gun Gale Online arc of SAO? I'm calling bullshit here because Aincrad doesn't have guns. The forms of Asuna are trying to guilt Steve, and then the shadow makes one of its crystal things form Josh. It stands there, and the shadow tells Steve to end it, and then he does. He kills the not Josh. Anyways, Shadow tells Steve to give up. Steve says no. Steve grabs Shadow, and I think they're floating down, and then Shadow is like shooting purple energy balls at Steve. That seems right. Steve is losing health points, and he stabs Shadow, and it dies. He raises his hand in victory, and then everything goes white. Then we switch to Asuna's point of view post-battle. Asuna wakes up in the real world, sees the news covering the SAO incident. A lot of, death, but nothing else really interesting there. Then there's a 1-year time skip. Mysterious person is leaving flowers on a grave. It's the grave of Steve, but they keep who the person is leaving the flowers a mystery. We switch to Steve's POV. Steve wakes up and sees Josh. Josh tells Steve that he's dead. Great way to break the ice, by the way. Josh tells Steve he died during the fight, and that Josh was always there for him, and that Asuna and Sinon made it out. Josh says they need to go, but then Steve's like, I'm not gonna go, because I'm waiting for someone. Sinon. He's waiting for Sinon to die. So, yeah, that ends Chapter 9, which is the official ending to this story. However, Chapter 10 is the alternate ending. Chapter 10 is titled Alternate Endgame. Farewell, Noble Hero. So what are the differences with this ending? Well, Steve takes Asuna and Sinon with him. They run into a large group of people. One of those people happens to be Klein. During the fight, Josh comes to Steve in like a vision, but then Josh is standing next to him as like a ghost. Then Josh and Steve combine their energy to overpower Shadow. And then Steve wakes up in the real world and runs out of the room into Sinon, Asuna Sinon. Apparently there was a malfunction with the nerve gear, which killed some people, but not other people. And that's kind of it for the alternate ending. Steve and Sinon get out alive, Josh is still dead, and we don't know what happens to Asuna. And that's the end of the story. Did I enjoy this? Yes. I still enjoyed it. Did it not make a lot of sense? Correct. It made very little sense and made me feel like the author doesn't know that much about SAO. But as I said at the end of my first video, writing is something that can always be improved upon. I'm not looking down on any of the authors that I use for the Let's Read videos. I'm not better than them. And I know that my own writing can always be improved. That's all I have to say, so if you want to add to the conversation, leave a comment below. As always, thanks for listening, and goodbye.